gonna move to 6.1, which is the tenure recommendation. Does any board member need to go into executive session only specifically for 6.1? For the tenure? No? Okay, then I think we'll just go ahead and move along with that, so that the people that are here for that can leave without having to sit around. So, Dr. Who's doing the presentation? Is it Dr.
Hanson?
Okay.
For the tenure. Everything's hidden behind the signs. Just to explain a little bit about our tenure process, it's a very rigorous process. It takes about 2.5 years. It's an in-depth self-reflection, self-study of the candidate. They are assigned a tenure committee which acts as a mentor and guides them through and helps transition them into being full-time faculty if they're coming from adjunct or if they're coming from industry. And we have meetings, there's committee meetings with the tenure candidate, and it's extremely rigorous compared to many other schools. So it's self-reflection and mentoring process. Dean Zuccarello, will you please share some highlights of Assistant Professor Marcia Bulthuis, who is our candidate, portfolio, and your recommendation of tenure?
Yes. Hello again. I'm delighted to present Marcia Bulthuis for tenure. Again, Marcia works harder than really any law should allow on behalf of our students here at the college, and we're delighted to have her. She was also a faculty member who came to us from our adjunct ranks, so again, super delighted about that. Marcia, in her portfolio, wrote a lot about how she's developed as a faculty member over the years. One of the things I thought was the most interesting was that she said, teaching is a great privilege and, as I'm finding out, a great responsibility. And I think that is shown by the level of detail that you do in your work. Recently, Marcia has taken a leadership role in terms of reimagining how we do documentation for all of our incoming freshman nursing students. So we do verification of immunization records and physicals. And we have been doing this by hand, and Marcia looked into an online system that would allow us to kind of expedite the process. And although I know this week we've had a few bumps and lumps, but we're working through it, and I think that's due in large part to Marcia believing that systems can be improved, and that if you do take the responsibility for your program, it improves the program and the students benefit. Marcia had a fantastic tenure committee, and I wanted to thank them also. Marion Kelly in biology, Linda Zarowski and Kathy Malik both in nursing, so thank you. Well, thank you, Marion. Oh, and there's Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. I'm actually going to commit plagiarism because I really liked something that Kathy wrote in her evaluation of Marcia. So this is what Kathy said. Marcia has proven to be a valuable member of the teaching team, department, and college. Her enthusiasm, motivation, and diligence continue to be valued and praised. She stays current in the field of nursing and shares important information readily. Her teaching reflects her currency. Her leadership skills are amazing for a novice educator. She initiates projects and tasks with energy and sincerity. She is a joy to work with. Her critical thinking abilities and visions for improvement are outstanding. And I couldn't agree more, so that's why I stole that about you, Marcia. So I am delighted to present Marcia Bulthuis for tenure this evening.
All right. And I am looking for a motion that the board. Well, I didn't get one of these, Nancy. What are they reading?
So I would like to thank Dean Zuccarello, and based upon the evaluation of the dean, the peer committee, student evaluations, and the portfolio documentation, I hereby recommend to the president the candidacy of Assistant Professor Marcia Bulthuis for the award of tenure from Prairie State College.
Thank you, Vice President Hansel. And Madam Chairperson, I hereby present Assistant Professor Bulthuis for your award of tenure.
Board members offer the motion and the board votes. Okay. Looking for a motion that the Board of Trustees award a faculty tenure appointment to Miss Marcia Bulthuis, Assistant Professor of Nursing, effective January 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Madam Secretary?
Trustee Donahue?
Aye.
Trustee Doyle?
Aye.
Trustee Hill Corley? Aye. Trustee Mosby?
Aye.
Trustee Wiley? And I say aye.
Is that January 2014? There's no specific date? January 1st, January?
No, I think with the term.
For the term, yes.
Okay. And I say aye. We wanna go ahead and put that one here. We didn't practice this, Marcia, I'm so sorry. We've only done this once or twice.
Marcia worked in more, used to.
All right.
Change of plans.
Photo op. You mind if-
And no, we do a tenure luncheon, right? At the end of each term or something like that, we do that?
No, the August board meeting will be the awarding of the tenure.
She'll be invited to that.
So she has to wait a whole year?
No, just,
Oh, we'll do one in January too?
yeah, it's up to you.
I hereby decree we'll do one in January.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Well, this is almost harder than standing up in front of 95 students. And particularly after Tina Parks spoke last year, she's a really tough act to follow. I knew that this would be different from working in the operating room for 20 years, but I really didn't know how different it would be until I got in here and began being a teaching nurse rather than, and a working nurse rather than a working nurse. And thank you for fostering continuing education and sending the workshops and all those things that go along with helping to improve on our ability to teach. One of the workshops that Marie sent me to early on was for no nursing faculty. And one of the guest speakers had equated what it felt like to be a new nursing faculty to being swept up out of Kansas, swirling around in a tornado and landing in class. And yeah, I woke up and there were a bunch of people looking at me and speaking a different language, and I was in a different place. So there were many days where I would say, I don't think I'm in Kansas anymore. So I could really relate to that. And faculty would, instead of saying, follow the yellow brick road, they'd say, oh, just follow the syllabus. So there are so many things I do like about being here, and I want to thank you all for the opportunity. And for, I do feel at home, so again, with the movie, there's no place like home. I do have a family here. I do feel like I am heard. My opinions are listened to, might not always agree with, but they're listened to. And that's more than I ever got working in a hospital in those four walls. So that really does come back and give you some gratification. I do feel like I'm able to make a bigger difference for what I do here. So thank you again, thank you for your board, Dr. Hansel, Patty, and my colleagues, members of the tenure committee, Marion, Kathy for the mentoring, for the friendship, for the support, and my family. Linda, committed, Sally for the tenure committee for your help with that. Continue, my plans to continue to work and grow, and glad to be here. There's no place to come.
It's like a nurse getting pinned all over.
Because nursing, they love to pin each other.
Sam, you guys stand with them. Sam, to take a picture. Yeah, go on, sure, take it. Yeah, go ahead. It's good to have film.
That's right.
It's a bonus dog.